Hello, this is Chef John from foodwishes.com with Kentucky beer cheese. That's right, and while I've never actually been to Kentucky, I have been to beer and cheese many times. And if you're a fan of the beer and cheese like I am, you're going to enjoy this unique and super easy to make cheese spread. So let me show you how to put this together, and the first thing you're going to need is one large, cheap domestic beer. And as you can see, I got the 24-ounce size, even though I only need 1 cup, which means that leaves 16 ounces for me. See, kids, that's why I want you to pay attention to math in school. But anyway, we're going to pop the top. We're going to pour that in a bowl because we want flat beer. All right, we don't want any carbonation. Oh, and by the way, you're going to want to do this step ahead. And down in Kentucky, they would just leave an open beer overnight to get stale. But here we can expedite things by putting it in a bowl and giving it a little whisk, and that stuff will go stale very quickly. And eventually what you're looking for is this, no bubbles. And that beer has been properly prepped. And then once our beer's been flattened, it's time to grate our cheese. And right here I have 1 pound of extra sharp cheddar. I'm going with the orange variety as I think it looks more authentic. And we're going to go ahead and grate that right into the bowl of our food processor. And I do prefer grating to cubing, which a lot of these recipes call for. People just cut up the cheese in big chunks and blend it that way. But I really think the texture's better if you grate the cheese beforehand. So sure, it does take a couple extra minutes. But I didn't care. I was drinking the extra 16 ounces of beer. So that worked out nicely. And then after we've grated our cheese, we're going to go ahead and spice this up. All these ingredients, by the way, are mandatory. First up, we're going to need a couple cloves of crushed garlic. You want that crushed or minced very fine. We're also going to want some dry mustard, some freshly ground black pepper, a whole lot of cayenne pepper, a pinch of salt. We're also going to give it a few dashes of Louisiana hot sauce, or Kentucky hot sauce if you have it, and then a few drops of Worcestershire sauce. And then last but not least, we're going to pour in about a cup of stale beer. And of course, you can vary the amounts of that depending on the texture you want here. And then once that's set, all we're going to do is process this until it's very smooth and creamy. And like most of these operations, we'll pulse to start. Just get it going. Once it looks like it's getting smooth, we'll stop. We'll scrape it down with a spatula. That's looking good. It's a good start, but we need to blend it much smoother. So we'll scrape that down, put the lid back on, and we'll simply continue until it's very smooth. And of course, this is edited for time, so it's going to take a couple minutes, a lot longer than it looks like here. But just keep blending until you have something that looks like this. And then, of course, because I've trained you properly, you're going to taste some, and you're going to adjust. Does it need more anything? All right, you might want to spice yours up a little more. You might want to put another pinch of salt or pepper, up to you. You are the judge dread of your spread. Now, we are going to recommend that you refrigerate this overnight to let the flavors develop, but you can serve this right away. It's perfectly fine. And I just served mine simply in a glass bowl with a little bit of extra cayenne. And of course, they just serve the celery and carrots down there for color. Nobody ever eats them. But you're going to want to put those on there anyway for appearances. But anyway, no matter how you serve this, you are in for a truly unique regional American snack. Oh, and by the way, it's worth noting that even though the texture might look grainy from a distance, it's actually very smooth and creamy. All right, so don't let that fool you. And as I bite this, I got to tell you, there's good news and bad news. The bad news is this is definitely an acquired taste. The good news is it only takes like 3 bites to acquire it. And I think the reason is if you've never had this before, that first bite really does taste kind of like sharp cheddar and skunky stale beer. But by the 3rd, 4th, 5th bite, you are totally addicted and loving this delicious spread. Oh, and by the way, before I sign off here, I have to point out that wooden table you see me serving this on is actually made from reclaimed wood from the Zigzag Paper Factory in Kentucky. True story. But anyway, if you're looking for something a little unique for your Super Bowl party, or just want something a little more interesting the next time you entertain, I really hope you give this Kentucky beer cheese a try soon. Head over to foodwishes.com for all the ingredient amounts and more info as usual. And as always, enjoy.